all of you. Am I audible? Am I audible? Ravi Teja, am I audible? Right. So in last class, we discussed about basically some important discussions about Napoleon, one of the most important ruler in France. And now we are going to continue the same discussion, right? France was a very important ruler. Napoleon was a very important ruler of France. Napoleon was a very important ruler in France. Why important, we have already discussed. That basically the ideas of French Revolution were promoted by Napoleon. Yes, all ideas were not promoted. It was limited, but still he was the promoter of progressive ideals that originated from the French Revolution 1789. He was the promoter of those progressive ideas that emerged as a result of Renaissance and Age of Enlightenment. Okay, and he did what? Two things at the same time. One is he ensured military victories. Clear? And by these military victories, what he did? He attacked on the dynastic rulers or ancient monarchs, right, in European countries. His objective was what? To uproot the ancient regime and to bring the modern regime. So this he was doing. So he was, through his military conquest, he was also trying to uproot monarchical regimes. Monarchical regimes. And there were powerful monarchs in Europe at that time. For example, Austria was ruled by monarch. Prussia was ruled by monarch. Russia was ruled by monarch, right? And there were many more other countries, but these are the most important countries. So Napoleon challenged the authority of these powerful monarchs. So obviously, all these powerful monarchs will do what? They will be united against Napoleon. They will be united against Napoleon. It means this is what? A coalition against France. So in this way, a coalition, we see a coalition, and this coalition was made against France because France had conquered many of the territories of these countries also, right? And they were like the extended political boundaries or territories of France, right? Now, we will learn about these territories later. This is one thing, but at the same time, he was also promoting progressive ideas through his Napoleon Code, which I have already discussed with you. Napoleon Code. That how Napoleon Code was a reflection of his progressive ideas and thoughts. But he also made some mistakes. He also committed some mistakes. For example, in last class I have discussed with you that the continental policy that was directed against Great Britain, which was a system of economic blockade, okay, to hamper the economic progress and growth of Great Britain, so that Great Britain could be easily defeated. This effort of Napoleon was a miscalculated effort. It means it created more loss for the France itself in comparison to the Great Britain. Great Britain compensated its loss through trade and commerce with the colonies. But what about France and those countries who were allied with France? Okay, their economy is crippled because they were dependent on Great Britain for their trade and commerce, and at the same time, the people in France also suffered from a lot of challenges. Okay, they faced a lot of difficulties because there will be a what? Disruption in the supply chain, and that's why the people were also very much worried. So this decision was not a popular decision. The sentiments of the people or the popular sentiments will go against Napoleon. Clear? This is like what? Dissatisfaction against Napoleon was promoted as a result. And what we see is that this Great Britain, which was following a policy of splendid isolation. It means keeping itself away from the active political developments in Europe. This Great Britain will join this coalition, and now this coalition will become more powerful. Great Britain can provide the naval support. Great Britain can finance or fund the wars, and in this way, what we see that a decisive war was fought. Basically, this was a series of wars, chain of wars, and that war, the Battle of Waterloo, is the most important, right? And in that war, what we see is that Napoleon was defeated. Napoleon was defeated. Napoleon was defeated. And after this defeat of Napoleon, again, important changes were introduced in France. Now, in this class, in today's class, we have to discuss about those important changes. First, I will discuss some string of facts or the events, and with the help of that, we will try to construct our opinion. So, one popular event is 1815, and this year, 1814-15, is known for what? End of Napoleon's era. It means now what happened? Napoleon's era had been ended. This is one point. Napoleon's era had been ended. And in 1815, okay, a concert was organized. Assembly of the victorious European countries was organized. And this is known as Concert of Europe. This is known as Concert of Europe. This is also known as Vienna Congress. This is the another name of this concert, Vienna Congress. This is also known as Vienna Convention. This is also known as Vienna Convention. And this event is very important in world history because here we see that various European nations will come together, right? For what purpose? To create a system. The system which will prevent future wars and conflicts. And this is happening for the first time in Europe. After First World War, what will come? League of Nations will come. After Second World War, what will come? United Nations will come. So in this chain of event, 1815 holds a very important place because here what we see that in 1815, okay, here European nations, almost all European nations, will send their representatives in concert of Europe. They will send their representatives. Almost all European nations will send their representatives in this concert. But the most important role was played by four. And which are these four? But here the most important role was played by four nations. And these nations are, you all know these names. One is Austria, right? The second is Prussia, Austria. The second is Prussia. The third is Russia. And the fourth is Great Britain. They played the most important role. But the other nations also sent their representative. But the most important role was played by these four nations. Got it? And out of these four, which one played the most important role? If we have to answer this question, so the answer will be Austria. Austria played the most important role. And here, the most important diplomat of Austria who played the most important role is known as Metternich, right? And where is Vienna? This is known as Vienna. Vienna is in Austria. Now you can relate. This congress is called Vienna Congress. Vienna is in Austria. Out of these four countries, which played the most important role? So Austria played the most important role, and here Austria is represented by, okay, Metternich. So Metternich played the most important. And due to this importance of Metternich, or you can say that most important role played by the Metternich, this entire system was also known as Metternich system. This entire system was also known as Metternich system. due to the important role that was played by Metternich. This entire system was known as Metternich System, right? Now, this part is clear. Why 1815 is important? Because when you will connect the chain of events, you will find that after the end of Second World War, okay, sorry, First World War, 1914-18 में क्या है? First World War. And after this First World War, we see Paris Peace Settlement. We will discuss it later. And after this, what will happen? League of Nations will come into existence. In the same way, after the end of Second World War, that is 1945 onwards, what we see? UN. Again, an international body come into existence. So why these international bodies came into existence? What could be the reason behind this? To prevent the future war and conflict, right? Because here before 1815, during this period 1804 to 1814-15, the balance of power in Europe was shifted in the favor of which country? It was shifted in the favor of France, right? It was shifted in the favor of France under the leadership of Napoleon. बैलेंस ऑफ पावर किसी एक कंट्री के फेवर में शिफ्ट हो जाना खतरनाक हो सकता है. दैट कंट्री कैन गिव चैलेंज टू द पावर एंड अथॉरिटी ऑफ द अदर नेशंस. दिस हैपेंड इन यूरोप एंड दैट्स व्हाई दे विल मेक एफर्ट, ओके, दैट पावर को कैसे वो किया जाए. नाउ दिस इज हैपनिंग. नाउ दिस पार्ट वी विल डिस्कस लेटर. ओनली आई हैव कनेक्टेड so that we could connect the themes. Now, Metternich system, okay, is what is the objective of this Metternich system, or why this Metternich system has been, okay, developed? What could be the objective of this Metternich system? Can you guess? Objective क्या होगा? Now just imagine here that Austria, Prussia and Russia, all three are ruled by whom? All three are ruled by powerful monarchs. All three are ruled by powerful monarchs. Dynastic rulers are there, okay. All these three countries will do what? They will promote the progressive ideas of revolution, or they will discourage the progressive ideas of revolution. They will try to stop, they will try to check the progressive ideas of revolution. That is the most important point. It means these countries will do what? From the very beginning, they were doing what? They were trying to check, or they were trying to check, or right, they were trying to check the progressive ideas of French Revolution. They were trying to check the progressive ideas of French Revolution, right? Checking progressive ideas of French Revolution means what? Promoting conservatism, okay. It means these countries were doing what? These countries were protecting and promoting conservatism also. They were protecting and promoting what? Conservatism also, okay. They were trying to promote and protect conservatism. So what they will like to do? Will they like to reinstall the old monarchical setup in France also? Yes. After the decline of Napoleon, they will try to bring old order back. That is the most important point. So these countries, their motive is to trying to bring what? Old order back. And how this old order can be reintroduced? Old order को reintroduce करने के लिए क्या करना होगा? The first task which you will have to do is to restore Bourbon dynasty rule in France. नेपोलियन ने किसको भगाया था? आपको पता है, Bourbon dynasty ruler Louis XVI was put to guillotine during the reign of terror. तो अगर दोबारा से Bourbon dynasty rulers को ला देते हैं तो क्या हो जाएगा? Old order restore हो जाएगा in France, okay. So they will do what? और ब्रिटेन का क्या अप्रोच है? What is the approach of Britain? ब्रिटेन का अप्रोच केवल इतना है that France should be made weaker. फ्रांस को कमजोर बना दो, so that it could never challenge the power of Great Britain in future. ग्रेट ब्रिटेन की डिमांड इससे ज्यादा नहीं है कुछ. ग्रेट ब्रिटेन डिमांड इज ओनली, दिस इज द डिमांड ऑफ ग्रेट ब्रिटेन. ठीक है, ग्रेट ब्रिटेन कोई मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि रिवेंज लेना चाहता है. इट्स ओनली लाइक दैट ग्रेट ब्रिटेन wants that France should be made weaker. France should be made weaker, so that France should be made weaker, so that made weaker, so that in future, so that in future it could not challenge, in future it could not challenge the power and authority of Great Britain. इतनी इच्छा है ग्रेट ब्रिटेन की कि फ्रांस शुड बी मेड वीकर, सो दैट इन फ्यूचर इट कुड नॉट चैलेंज द पावर एंड अथॉरिटी ऑफ ग्रेट ब्रिटेन. कितना आसान है, राइट? नाउ दीज कंट्रीज विल डू व्हाट? They are trying to introduce old order. So they will do what? They will do what? In France, read this, in France, Bourbon dynasty rule was restored. In France, Bourbon dynasty rule was restored. In France, Bourbon dynasty rule was restored. Okay, and here, who will become ruler? So the answer is Louis XVIII will become the ruler. It means the dynastic rule was reintroduced. Louis XVIII becomes the ruler. Dynastic rule was reintroduced in France. Louis XVIII becomes the ruler. Now, the second point here. What Great Britain wants? Great Britain wants that France should be made weaker. How this country will be made weaker? All those territories which were previously conquered by France will be done what? ठीक है, जैसे आप कंप्यूटर में undo और redo का बटन आता है ना, वैसा ही कुछ है, right? All those territories which were previously conquered by France will be taken back from France. वो सारे फ्रांस से वापस ले लिए जाएंगे. And now they will be divided and distributed among the victorious powers without caring for the common cultural identity, without caring for the common cultural norms, without caring for the common ethnic ties. ठीक है, all those territories. So this point is very important. In this way, France will become weaker. So this point is very important. You can write this, that all those territories which were previously, all those territories, all those territories which were previously, all those territories were previously conquered by France will be taken back, which were previously conquered by France will be taken back. They will be taken back and they will be divided and distributed among the victorious powers, and they will be divided and distributed among victorious powers. Got it? All those territories which were previously conquered by France will be taken back. All those territories which were previously conquered by France will be taken back, and they will be divided and distributed among the victorious powers. In this way, the French territories will also be curtailed. फ्रांस की टेरिटरी भी क्या हो जाएगी? कर्टेल हो जाएगी. Got it? This is the idea. Okay, so concert of Europe is what? Progressive in nature or regressive in nature? The decisions taken in concert of Europe are progressive in nature or regressive in nature. So if we'll take one parameter, that is the concert of Europe, the provisions of concert of Europe, are they in sync with the progressive ideas? No, they are not in sync with the progressive ideas. Okay, it's like going back to the previous time. Now just imagine about the people, about the masses, those who have already tasted the fruits of revolution. What they will do? They will again say दिल मांगे, उससे और भी ज्यादा इंडिविजुअल राइट्स उनको चाहिए. एक बार लोगों को आप थोड़ी बहुत छूट देके फिर छूट को वापस नहीं ले सकते. मेरी बात समझ गया ना? So that is not valid. Okay, so this will happen. So this is the development. It means the concert of Europe. The decisions taken in the concert of Europe were regressive in nature. It means they were not in sync with the progressive ideas. They were not in sync with the progressive ideas. वो progressive ideas से sync में नहीं है. Okay. Now we'll use PPT to discuss some points, and then I will use some maps further to discuss this entire concept. This is very important. Okay. So the basic objective of studying world history is to understand Vienna Congress, League of Nations, United Nations. ठीक है, ये सारे डेवलपमेंट को समझना है, कनेक्ट करके उसको दूसरे जीएस के टॉपिक से भी रिलेट करना है. नाउ लेट्स लुक एट some slides. Okay, to further explain this, we already have explained the core, the crux of this topic. I have already discussed with you. Now, okay, I'm coming to this slide. Are you getting this slide on the screen? Okay, concert of Europe. I've recently discussed with you that concert of Europe is also called what? Vienna Congress, Vienna Convention. Okay, it has different names. It is known by different names: Vienna Congress, Vienna Convention, right? Now what we read here about this concert of Europe, so it has been written here that, okay, it has been written here that it was a series of international diplomatic meetings to discuss, to agree upon a possible new layout of the European political and constitutional order after the downfall of the French Emperor Napoleon, right? It means French Emperor Napoleon, right? His rule had ended, and after this, what was the need of the time? Okay, to prepare a layout for the next development, that what is to be done. Okay, next what is to be done. So basically, the people are making plans for that, that what is to be done next. Okay, so that is one idea, that what is to be done here. Now, the next slide, what does it say? That the Congress of Vienna was the first of a series of international meetings. It was first among the series of international meetings. Previous meetings, the later meetings that I have discussed with you, was related to this League of Nations in 1919 and United Nations in 1945. That I have already discussed with you. Vienna Congress focuses on what? Maintaining balance of power, because before 1815 the balance of power was in the favor of France. So that was the main focus, to maintain balance of power. If balance of power could be maintained, then the future conflict can be prevented. This is the idea. And the Vienna Congress dissolved the Napoleonic world. What does it mean? Dissolve the Napoleonic world means the vast empire that was conquered by Napoleon. What will happen? All those conquered territories will be taken from France, taken back from the France. This is the meaning of this line. And attempted to restore to the monarchies Napoleon had overthrown. What does it mean? It means that in France also the monarchical setup will be restored, the Bourbon dynasty rule will be restored, and apart from the France, there are other republics also, sister republics, where Napoleon had done what? Overthrown the current regime and replaced it with the new set of rulers, and was claiming that I am promoting progressive ideals of revolutions. So there also there was the need to bring back the previous rulers. This is the idea here. Okay, and the Vienna Congress was the first occasion in history where on a continental scale national representatives came together to formulate treaties instead of relying mostly on the masses between the several capitals. It means this is the first time that representatives of all European countries are reaching at Vienna, right? Important role was played by only few, but this is the first time that representatives reached at Vienna, right? And the Congress of Vienna dissolved the Napoleonic world. I have already discussed it under the leadership of Metternich. I have told you this is also known as what? Metternich System. So Metternich was the symbol of what? Old order or ancient regime or the conservative order. That is the idea. that Metternich was the symbol of old order, ancient regime, or conservative order. Metternich was the prime minister of Austria. Austria played the most important role and Metternich played the most important role in the Vienna Congress. Vienna Congress में Austria ने important role play किया था, Metternich ने role important play किया था. I have already discussed with you that in concert of Europe in Vienna Congress, which countries played the most important role? So the answer is Britain, Russia, Prussia, and Austria. I have already discussed it. That 4 countries played the most important role. Now, what was the goal? The goal was to restore old boundaries. What does it mean? It means all the territorial changes or adjustments that was done by Napoleon will be declared null and void. जितने भी चेंज नेपोलियन ने किए हैं वो सारे चेंजेस को क्या किया जाएगा? They will be declared null and void. And but to resize the main powers, now the leaders were conservatives. What is written here? The leaders were conservatives. I have already discussed with you. Austria, Prussia, right? Russia was ruled by absolute monarchs. So the rulers were conservative with little use for republicanism or revolution. It means they were not more open for the progressive ideas, right? They don't believe in the republican system. Even they believe it is very limited belief. They are little open. Okay, that is the idea. Now the plan was first of its kind in European history and seemed to promise a way to collectively manage European affairs and promote peace. In this context, this is important. In this context, Vienna Congress is important. Now, we will discuss some maps here and we'll try to understand, okay, the topic here. Now, look at this map, okay. This is the map of France. Now, we are coming to the previous map, right? At the time of Napoleon, okay, look here. First, look at this map, okay, then we'll discuss later. Or this map, this is also helpful for us. When you look at this map, what do you see? This is French Empire, right? This is French Empire, but what we see? The French influence, this light blue color is what? Those areas which were controlled by France. Dark blue color is what? French Empire. So this is French Empire, but this all area is what? Under the influence of Napoleon. बाकी सारे एरिया किसके इन्फ्लुएंस में है? नेपोलियन के इन्फ्लुएंस. Here you see a word Confederation of the Rhine. That too I will discuss. Confederation of the Rhine. This part will later become what? Italy. ये एरिया इटली बनने जा रहा है. During Napoleon's era, it was also under the influence and dominion of Napoleon. This part later will become what? Germany. It means जो आगे चल के इंडिपेंडेंट नेशन जर्मनी बनता है, जो टेरिटरी आगे चल के इंडिपेंडेंट नेशन इटली बनती है, ड्यूरिंग नेपोलियंस एरा those territories, most of those territories were controlled by whom? They were controlled by Napoleon. इतनी सी बात आपको समझनी है. It means this is what? Extension of Napoleon influence outside the France also. It means Napoleon influence is extended outside the France also. France के बाहर भी इसका influence है. Now look what happened in 1815. 1815 में क्या होता है? This is the kingdom of France. Okay, this is the kingdom of the France. Now, what we see that this part, this is what? Boundary. Red colored line here is the boundary, and this is the boundary of what? German Confederation. It means that what? These areas will be taken from Napoleon. ये Napoleon से वापस ले लिया जाएगा. Now this light green color, all these areas taken from Napoleon. देखो यहाँ पे क्या है? These are smaller territories. These are smaller territories. Okay. Right. Now look here. These territories were previously controlled by whom? These territories were previously controlled by Napoleon. यहाँ देख रहा हो ना, यहाँ बहुत सारी ऐसी टेरिटरीज है जिनको कौन पहले कंट्रोल करता था? नेपोलियन. द वर्ड राइन कॉन्फेडरेशन आई हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड विथ यू. नाउ फ्रांस एम्पायर हैज बीन कर्टेल्ड हियर. देखिए 1815 में फ्रांस का एम्पायर क्या हो गया? उसको कर्टेल कर दिया गया, कम कर दिया गया. द कंट्रोल ऑफ द फ्रांस वॉज रिड्यूस. देखो ये अब फ्रांस रह गया. दिस एरिया, many of these areas were previously under the influence of Napoleon. Many of these areas were previously under the influence of Napoleon. Here also we see the Napoleon influence. All these influences were curtailed. It means the territories that were previously conquered by Napoleon will be taken back. इतनी बात आपको समझ में आई? When I will discuss unification of Italy, I will discuss the name of territories. Unification of Germany, I will discuss the name of territories. This much is clear, that the territories will be taken away. Okay. Now, what is the political change here? This we need to understand. One point we have understood. Now we are going to discuss one important aspect here, is that political change in Europe. Political change in Europe. Territorial changes will be done. This we understand. But we need to understand what is the political change. In France, France in particular and Europe in general. What are the political changes in France? फ्रांस में कौन से पॉलिटिकल चेंजेस है? नाउ द कॉन्सेप्ट इज वेरी क्लियर, वेरी इजी टू अंडरस्टैंड. व्हाट आर द पॉलिटिकल चेंजेस इन फ्रांस? तो देखो 1804 to 1814-15. Here Napoleon was an emperor. We all know this. Was it an absolute monarchical setup? The answer is no. It was not absolute monarchical. Napoleon was a different kind of monarch. He was a monarch, and at the same time he was promoting what? Progressive ideals of revolution. Progressive ideals of revolution. So Napoleon was a different kind of monarch. Now in 1815 what will happen? Vienna Congress. In 1815 Vienna Congress will take place. Vienna Congress will take place. We need to understand the basic development here. बहुत अंदर नहीं जाना है details में, but we need to understand the basic development here. Now, what is the political regime? Here we see important changes. First, between 1815 and 1830, and second, right, between 1830 and 1848. Now we have to understand these three phases. This first phase we have already discussed with you. We have already understood all the developments here in first phase. Now this I am saying second phase. इसको क्या कह देता हूँ? Second phase. This I am saying third phase. Third phase. Now what are the important developments in this phase? This we need to understand. तो देखो second phase में क्या होता है? Okay. Here what will happen? Bourbon dynasty rule will be restored. This is very clear, that Vienna Congress will do what? Previously which dynasty was ruling? Bourbon dynasty was ruling. So this Bourbon dynasty rule was restored. Okay. Now Louis XVIII will become the ruler of France. This is a new fact here, that rule was restored, and who becomes the ruler of France? Louis XVIII. He becomes the ruler of France. But there was an important challenge before Louis XVIII. Louis XVIII के सामने सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज क्या था? Louis XVIII himself was a liberal monarch. वो खुद ही क्या था? एक liberal monarch था. And he believed in the idea of constitutional monarchy, and there are sufficient reasons for this. ठीक है? Sufficient reason क्या है? लोगों, नेपोलियन ने क्या किया है? Napoleon has promoted progressive ideals of revolution. So if all of a sudden, ठीक है, all of a sudden if you will put reverse gear, what will happen? वो practical नहीं है. So what he will do? Louis XVIII was a liberal monarch, so he will say that it's okay. We are going back to which system? Constitutional monarchy system. In this way he will try to maintain a balance. कि मैं monarch भी बन जाऊंगा, नेपोलियन भी खत्म है, और साथ ही साथ एक मैसेज ये भी चला जाएगा कि I am with the progressive ideals of revolution. So Louis XVIII tried to maintain, Louis XVIII, write this point, Louis XVIII tried to maintain balance. He himself was a liberal monarch. If he was a liberal, so he favored the idea of constitutional monarchy. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोनार्की. उसने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोनार्की के आइडिया को फेवर किया, दैट इन फ्रांस we should have constitutional monarchy. Okay, so which order will come here? So under Louis 18 in France we see constitutional monarchy. It means king plus national assembly. Here this national assembly was bicameral, right? So king plus national assembly. This national assembly was bicameral, and Louis 18 was ruler till this year 1824 he died. Okay, तो ये टाइम पीरियड है लुई 18 का. एंड इन लुई 18 टाइम इन फ्रांस देयर वाज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोनार्की. ओके, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोनार्की. गॉट इट? तो लोग थोड़ा शांत रहेंगे, ऑब्वियसली थोड़ा शांत तो रहेंगे ना, बिकॉज द सिस्टम इज व्हाट? कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोनार्की. नाउ आफ्टर हिज डेथ who becomes the ruler? So the answer is Charles X. Write this. After his death, who becomes the ruler? So the answer is Charles X. Charles X become the ruler. And what is about Charles X? Most important point about Charles X. So Charles X was, okay, basically ये भाई था. He was the brother of Louis 18. So Charles X was more conservative. More conservative. Charles X was more conservative. So here we see that Charles X was more conservative. More conservative. So a more conservative ruler will do what? Gradually, dhire dhire, he will do what? He will reject the constitution, right? Gradually he will suspend the legislature, bicameral legislature, and he will establish absolute monarchy. ठीक है ना? So since he was a conservative ruler, so gradually, write this, gradually Charles X, okay, abolished National Assembly or bicameral legislature. Gradually he abolished National Assembly or bicameral legislature. He abolished this National Assembly or bicameral legislature. Gradually he abolished it. He abolished this National Assembly or bicameral legislature. इसको abolish कर दिया. Then what he did? He rejected constitution also. He rejected constitution also. Constitution को भी reject कर दिया. He rejected constitution also. And then he did what? He established absolute monarchy. ठीक है? He set up which regime? Absolute monarchical regime. So he did what? He set up absolute monarchical regime. इसने absolute monarchical regime को set up कर लिया. He set up absolute monarchical regime. Now what will happen? Feudal elements will become more powerful or not? Role of Catholic Church will become more prominent or not? तो सारी चीजें पुरानी वाली वापस आने लगेंगी. It means as a result what will happen? Write this. Catholic Church will gain more prominence. Catholic Church will gain more prominence. Catholic Church will gain more prominence, right? Feudal system will become more powerful. Feudal system will become more powerful. More powerful. It means again what happened? When Charles X was ruling, a system was established. Again a system was re-established. It is better to use this word. A system was re-established. When Charles X was ruling, a system was re-established which was based on social and economic inequality. Again this system was re-established. A system that was based on social and economic inequality. This system was re-established. बात समझ में आई? The system was re-established which was based on social and economic inequality. अब आप just imagine that you are living in France at that time and these things are going on. This is all what? Transition. When Louis 18 will come to power, you will think that ठीक है, अच्छा ruler है, he is believing in constitutional monarchy and we have a bicameral legislature also. But after some time, Charles X will come, ठीक है, and Charles X will do what? will again bring back the old order. Now, as a citizen of France, what will be your response? आपका response क्या होगा? What will be your response? You are a citizen. You are a citizen who is already familiar with progressive ideas of Renaissance and Age of Enlightenment. आपको अमेरिका के वॉर ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस के बारे में भी पता है. You are familiar with the progressive ideas of political thinkers, economic thinkers. You already have tasted the fruits of revolution. ठीक है, इक्वलिटी की बात, नेपोलियन कोड से आप फेमिलियर हो. So this enlightened citizens will do what? These enlightened citizens will do what? Will they oppose? Yes. Will they oppose this regime? Yes, they will oppose this regime. They will oppose this authoritarian regime. Okay, and they will demand what? Freedom of speech and expression, freedom of press. They will demand the rights, individual rights needs to be protected. Ultimately the people are demanding what? System of republic. दिल मांगे मोर, लोगों को पहले से पता है. So what will happen? All these injustices will be opposed by French. Right? All these injustices will be opposed by French people. Okay, so what will happen? What is the expression of dissatisfaction? रिवॉल्यूशन के रूप में होगा. मेरी बात समझ गया ना? विच रिवॉल्यूशन इज सीन? R2. बताया था ना, R2 इन विच ईयर? 1830. चार्ल्स 10 बिकम रूलर इन विच ईयर? ओके, 1824. So what we see? R2. This 1830 is the what? R2 in France. Revolution 2 in France. R2 in France. अब आप समझ पा रहे हो? 1789 there was a revolution. 1830 there is another revolution in France. This is known as R2. 1830 there is another revolution, and this revolution is known as R2. And after R2 what will happen? R2 के बाद क्या होगा? कुछ प्रेशर होगा गवर्नमेंट पे. Yes, there will be some pressure. कुछ तो प्रेशर होगा. Now यहाँ पे क्या है? Absolute monarchy. Now here which system will be introduced? Constitutional monarchy. अब थोड़ा सा सुधार कर दो कि लोग शांत हो जाएंगे, तो यहाँ पे फिर क्या ले आया गया? कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. तो बिटवीन दिस 1830 टू 1848 देयर वाज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोनार्की. लोगों को रिपब्लिक फिर नहीं मिला. 1830 was it successful in creating republics in France? The answer is no. लेकिन थोड़ा सा प्रोग्रेस हुआ. वो प्रोग्रेस क्या था? चार्ल्स 10 के टाइम में जो एब्सोल्यूट मोनार्कियल सिस्टम था, यहां से सिस्टम इंप्रूव होके क्या बन गया? कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोनार्की. So this is a little bit progress. You don't need to know the name of the ruler. That was Louis Philippe. लिखना मत, ठीक है? ये रूलर का नाम इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री में. What is important is the understanding of the development. ठीक है? और देखो, घबराना भी नहीं है. It may be possible that you will not get direct question in exam, but whatever you are learning, this will consolidate other informations and knowledge of your GS. ठीक है? ऐसे नहीं होता कि कोई यूं ही जाता है और आईएएस टॉपर बन जाता है, आईएएस में सिलेक्शन हो जाता है. ऐसा नहीं होता. ठीक है? द पीपल शेयर देयर सक्सेस स्टोरीज, बट कितना ऑनेस्ट होके अपनी वो सक्सेस स्टोरीज को शेयर कर रहे हैं, ये भी समझने की जरूरत है. मेरी बात समझ गया? ठीक है? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई एम हेल्पिंग एंड सपोर्टिंग यू, ओके, इन वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री. थोड़ी सी हेल्प मैं कर रहा हूँ. डू यू थिंक दैट माई हेल्प इज मेकिंग योर टास्क अ लिटिल बिट मोर ईजियर? यस और नो? यस और नो? यस ना? ठीक है? तो ऐसे भी बच्चे हैं जिनको सपोर्ट मिल जाता है. अच्छा, फिर वो दे विल से दैट नहीं, क्लास मत करो. द टीचर्स हेल्प विल एंड सपोर्ट विल मेक योर टास्क इजियर. व्हाट यू हैव टू डू? ठीक है? मल्टीपल टाइम्स रिवीजन, सेलेक्टिंग गुड नोट्स, मल्टीपल टाइम्स रिवीजन, यही करना है. बिकॉज दिस इज ऑल अबाउट, देर आर लिमिटेड नंबर ऑफ अटेम्प्ट्स. जीवन भर एग्जाम नहीं दे सकते. लिमिटेड एज, लिमिटेड नंबर ऑफ अटेम्प्ट्स, लिमिटेड रिसोर्सेज फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स. सबकी इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन भी एक जैसी नहीं है. मेरी बात समझ गया ना? So it's all about how to make smart strategy for the preparation, how to save time, okay, how to save your energy. This is all about that. इतनी बात आपको समझ में आई? This is constitutional monarchy in France here, 1830 to 1848, right? Now I am asking a simple question. Whatever is going on inside France, फ्रांस में जो कुछ भी हो रहा है, ठीक है, बताओ. बांग्लादेश में जो हुआ वो हमने देखा, पता चला कि नहीं हमें? श्रीलंका में जो हुआ वो हमें पता चला कि नहीं? अभी हाल फिलहाल में लंदन में जो हुआ वो हमें पता चला कि नहीं चला ना? तो क्या फ्रांस में जो वो हो रहा है, don't you think that the people in Europe, they will not be familiar with the whatever is occurring in France? No. Whatever is happening in France, all these events, all the demands of the people in France will reach to other European countries. So these demands are affecting French people in particular, and in general they are also affecting European people. Okay, this will have a greater impact on the other countries of Europe also, and that's why, okay, Metternich said that when France sneezes, entire Europe catches cold. कहा था ना Metternich ने, when France sneezes, entire Europe catches cold. That is the point. So here what will happen, write this: constitutional monarchy is established. Now I am coming directly here, 1848. What will happen? R3 in France. Revolution 3 in France. R3 in France. R3 in France. France में होगा R3. And after this, what will happen? Republic will be created in France. So after 1848, republics were created in France. Republics were created in France. Republics were created in France after 1848. Republics were created in France. Now this is a simple question. यहाँ बहुत डिटेल में आपको नहीं पढ़ना है. You should know the string of events and the development. And the story is very simple. 1815 में old order वापस आया. France में again Bourbon dynasty rule was restored, but the ruler was a liberal monarch. So what he did? He introduced constitutional monarchy. But after 1824, the successor is what? A conservative person. So he gradually changed this system from, okay, from this constitutional monarchy to absolute monarchy. Now the people were not ready to accept this. The people opposed it. We see the second revolution in France, 1830. But this revolution was also not successful in bringing system of republics in France. But yet some positive changes were there. What we see that here constitutional monarchy, okay, comes into existence, and in 1848, okay, another revolution will take place, and ultimately republics will be created in France. So the journey which started in 1789, right, going through 1830, finally completed in which year? 1848. Okay, here the objective was to set up republics, but in real sense, in true sense, republics were set up in which year? In true sense, republics were set up 1848. So French Revolution, when we talk about French Revolution, so this French Revolution was a combination of three revolutions, that is R1, R2 and R3. 1789 is considered as R1, 1830 is considered as R2, and 1848 is considered as R3, right? That is the concept of R1, R2 and R3. This is French Revolution, R1, R2, R3, 1789, 1830 and 1848. यहाँ तक क्लियर? सारी बात समझ में आई? अच्छा, फ्रांस कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है? नेपोलियन के टाइम में भी इंपॉर्टेंट था. फ्रांस से बाहर भी उसने प्रोग्रेसिव आइडियाज को प्रमोट किया. इसीलिए मेटरनिक ने कहा व्हेन फ्रांस स्नीजेस एंटायर यूरोप कैचेस कोल्ड. फिर क्या हो रहा है? फ्रेंच रिवॉल्यूशन. फ्रेंच रिवॉल्यूशन में डिमांड्स क्या है? प्रोग्रेसिव डिमांड्स है. वो प्रोग्रेसिव डिमांड्स क्या होंगी? यूरोप के अदर पार्ट्स में भी पॉपुलर होंगी, और इसका रिजल्ट क्या होगा? इन अदर पार्ट्स ऑफ यूरोप आल्सो पीपल विल स्टार्ट डिमांडिंग फॉर व्हाट? रिकॉग्निशन ऑफ देयर राइट्स, इंडिविजुअल राइट्स. Okay, and in this way this will create a new movement, okay, that we are going to discuss. Is this clear? Now write some questions. Okay, अच्छा, लिखना क्या है? क्वेश्चन, कोई भी क्वेश्चन लिख सकते हो. ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द थीम एंड यू कैन राइट द आंसर ऑफ एनी क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, गेट अ क्वेश्चन एंड ट्राई टू राइट द आंसर. यू कैन इजीली राइट. ओके, आंसर राइटिंग देखो, many of us thinks that answer writing comes after a lot of practice. I don't believe in this. Answer writing needs what? Everyone says simple language, simple language. In bullet form, yet you have to read the answer. You don't have to write complex language for this purpose. So the what is the model which you are following in answer writing? Simple language. You are putting your thoughts. So until unless you will develop the understanding of thoughts, you will not be able to write good answer. मेरी बात समझ गया ना? कलम आपकी चलती है, लेकिन इसके साथ साथ आइडियाज कहाँ होते हैं? क्या होते हैं? तो ये सब कुछ आइडियाज पे डिपेंड करता है. You will start creating ideas in your mind. You will start reading facts and informations that will support your idea. You will start revision of multiple revisions of those facts and informations, and you will find that you have started writing good answer. You need to select some formats, practice on that format, and you will start writing good answer. ये कोई बहुत मुश्किल काम नहीं होता है. Okay, where we lack is understanding of concepts. यहीं पे हम lack करते हैं. ठीक है, तो उस गैप को थोड़ा सा फुलफिल करने की कोशिश करनी है, और वो करना ही पड़ेगा. ठीक है, दिस नीड टू बी डन. नाउ read this statement. This is very relevant statement. This is a statement of Metternich. Okay, and what Metternich said? Metternich said that when France sneezes, entire Europe catches cold. When France sneezes, entire Europe catches cold. When France sneezes, entire Europe catches cold. I think that you understand the context here, right? When France sneezes, the entire Europe catches cold, right? Now, what will happen? Dekho. In Europe, now we are going to enter into another topic, and for that we need to connect a few things. For example, we have studied about 1848. That was R3, right? And here there is another important event, that is in the year 1870-71, and this event is known in history. Here two new nations will emerge or will take birth. Okay, on the political map of Europe we will see two new nations, and write this: unification of Italy and unification of Germany. Unification of Italy and unification of Germany. Now these are two topics, and both these unifications completed in which year? It completed in 1870-71. ये दोनों unifications 1870-71 में complete हुए हैं. और देखो, here the unification of Italy and unification of Germany was like the freedom movement of a country. जैसे we fought for India's independence, and these two countries fought for the unification of their territories. And when they were successful in doing this, okay, what will happen? Okay, it will emerge as new nation. Okay, so their unification is like freedom movement or independence movement. Their unification is like freedom movement or independence movement. It means different territories, right, were unified. Different territories were unified in the form of a single nation, that is Italy. In the form of a single nation, and this nation is what? Italy. We see that different territories here were unified in the form of a single nation, and that single nation is Italy. It means before this they don't have a national identity. इनके पास क्या थी? They don't have a national identity. These were mere geographical territories. These territories were mere geographical territories, and these geographical territories were controlled and commanded by different powerful monarchs of Europe. This is the simple idea, that these geographical territories were controlled and commanded by different powerful monarchs of Europe. यूरोप के पावरफुल मोनार्क इनको कंट्रोल कर रहे थे, कमांड कर रहे थे. यही नहीं, आपस में बांट लिया था इसको, राइट? They have also divided and distributed these territories. So these territories were also divided and distributed. These territories were also divided and distributed among powerful nations of nations. Powerful nations means monarch, powerful monarch of Europe. They were also divided and distributed among the powerful nations of powerful monarch of Europe. एक ये जनरल आइडिया है, राइट? दिस इज जनरल आइडिया. नाउ आई विल फर्स्ट गिव यू द कॉन्सेप्ट्स, देन विल लुक एट द मैप. नहीं तो ऐसा मैप समझ में नहीं आएगा. मेरी बात समझ गया ना? एंड मैप विल जस्ट सपोर्ट आवर आइडिया. मैप का रट्टा नहीं मारना है, ठीक है? नाउ ड्यूरिंग नेपोलियंस एरा व्हाट हैपेंड? नेपोलियन का एरा कब से कब तक है? 1804 टू 1814-15. तो नेपोलियन ने क्या किया था? नेपोलियन हैड एक्सरसाइज्ड control and influence over these small territories. He had conquered those small territories. हम ऐसा भी कह सकते हैं कि under the leadership of Napoleon, those smaller territories were freed from the powerful control of the monarchies of Europe. इन छोटे छोटे टेरिटरीज को नेपोलियन ने क्या किया था? पावरफुल जो कंट्रोल था मोनार्क्स का, उनसे क्या किया था? फ्री करा दिया था. ओके, दिस इज ट्रू इन केस ऑफ जर्मनी ऑल्सो एंड इटली ऑल्सो. So we know that during Napoleon's era, Napoleon, through his military victories, has done what? Was successful. Was successful. Napoleon, through his military victories, was successful in freeing up. Was successful in freeing up these smaller territories. These smaller territories. Napoleon was successful in freeing off these powerful territories from the control of powerful monarchs. From the control of powerful monarchs. नेपोलियन ने क्या किया था? इनको आजाद करा दिया था पावरफुल मोनार्क्स से. ओके, नाउ विल दीज टेरिटरीज बी द एक्सटेंडेड टेरिटोरियल बाउंड्री ऑफ फ्रांस? यस, ये वही एरिया है जो फ्रांस के इन्फ्लुएंस में है, राइट? तो नेपोलियन ने इनको आजाद कराया. एंड नेपोलियन डिड व्हाट? नेपोलियन आल्सो प्रोमोटेड प्रोग्रेसिव आइडियल्स ऑफ रिवॉल्यूशन इन दीज टेरिटरीज. नेपोलियन आल्सो प्रोमोटेड प्रोग्रेसिव आइडियल्स ऑफ रिवॉल्यूशन इन दीज टेरिटरीज. नेपोलियन आल्सो प्रोमोटेड दैट. प्रोग्रेसिव आइडियल्स ऑफ रिवॉल्यूशन को प्रोमोट भी किया. एंड नाउ दीज टेरिटरीज वेर व्हाट? These territories formed the extended political territories or boundaries of France. They formed what? Extended political territories or boundaries of France. ये सारी की सारी territories क्या हो गई? जैसे suppose this is France. This is the territory of France. Now suppose these are the smaller territories which Napoleon helped them in freeing from the control of other powerful monarch of Europe. Now this is what? Extended political territory or boundary of France. ये extended political territory or boundary, ठीक है ना? और यहाँ पे क्या promote कर दिया नेपोलियन ने? Progressive ideals of revolution. इसको promote कर दिया. Napoleon promoted what? Progressive ideals of revolution here. यहाँ पे प्रोग्रेसिव आइडियल्स ऑफ रिवॉल्यूशन को किया. इज इट क्लियर? ठीक है. 1815 में क्या हुआ? दीज टेरिटरीज अगेन क्या हो जाएगा? ठीक है, विल बी टेकन बैक फ्रॉम फ्रांस एंड दे विल बी डिवाइडेड एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड अमंग द पावरफुल मोनार्क ऑफ यूरोप. एक टॉपिक यूपीएससी के सिलेबस में एक वर्ड मेंशन है, नेशनल बाउंड्रीज, रीड्रॉल ऑफ द नेशनल बाउंड्रीज. ये टॉपिक सिलेबस में मेंशन है. इट मींस दिस टॉपिक वी नीड टू डिस्कस अकॉर्डिंग टू द सिलेबस. उसे भी हमें समझने की जरूरत है, राइट? तो राइट दिस आफ्टर 1815. अब देखो क्या हो रहा है, ये पूरा का पूरा इफेक्ट क्या होगा यहाँ. आफ्टर 1815 these smaller territories where these smaller territories after 1815 these smaller territories were again divided and distributed, were again divided and distributed among powerful monarchs of Europe. They were divided and distributed among powerful monarchs of Europe. मान लेते हैं ये सारी territories हैं. I am not writing the names. Now just imagine that these are the smaller territories. Powerful monarchs of Europe के बीच में क्या हो गया? It was divided and distributed. Now एक बात बताओ, that for example when partition of India was done in 1947, right, it was demand of Muslim League कि Muslim majority areas should be given a separate status of a separate nation. तो दिया गया पाकिस्तान. One was Eastern Pakistan, which later became Bangladesh. Why it later became Bangladesh? Ethnic issues, languages. इसलिए तो बांग्लादेश बना ना, पढ़ा होगा आपने, ठीक है. And what we see is that still there are the problems of minorities in Pakistan and in Bangladesh. वहाँ minorities की अपनी भी problem है. मेरी बात समझ गया ना? So whenever we see that if these smaller territories or the boundaries, suppose एक big boss है A, उसको मिल गई ये सारी territories. दूसरी big boss है, दूसरा big boss है B, उसको ये territory मिल गई. Big boss C got this territory, big boss D got these territories. आपने अपने हिसाब से बांट लिया without caring for what? Languages of the people, without caring for ethnic ties of the people. ठीक है, बताओ लैंग्वेज एक दूसरे को, जैसे इंडिया में देखो 1956 आंध्र प्रदेश, ओके, लिंग्विस्टिक स्टेट, पता है ना आपको. तो लैंग्वेज, रिलीजन, एथनिसिटी, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. एंड व्हाट हैपेंड इन 1815? विदाउट केयरिंग फॉर द पीपल्स लैंग्वेज, एथनिसिटी, ओके, व्हाट हैपेंड? दीज डिविजन्स वेर मेड. ये बांट लिया गया, ठीक है. जैसे ऐसे समझ लो, मान लो यहाँ कोई बिहारी है, बांट दिया आपने, कुछ बिहारी इधर रह गए, तो वो चाहेंगे ना कि हम हमेशा साथ में आए. मेरी बात समझ गया ना? बस ऐसे समझने के लिए मेरी बात समझो. बिकॉज पीपल स्पीकिंग द सेम लैंग्वेजेस विल डू व्हाट? विल ट्राई टू बी यूनाइट, विल ट्राई टू यूनाइट देयर टेरिटरीज. वो उस टेरिटरी को यूनाइट करना चाहेंगे. नेपोलियन ने क्या किया था? सपोज दिस ऑल इज द एक्सटेंडेड पॉलिटिकल टेरिटरी और बाउंड्री ऑफ नेपोलियन. तो इनडायरेक्टली नेपोलियन ने क्या किया था? अनइंटेंशनली यूनिफाइड दिस रीजन. जैसे छोटी छोटी एरियाज को 4-5 लोगों ने बांट लिया, अगर उनकी जगह एक सिंगल बॉस आ जाएगा तो क्या होगा? यूनिफिकेशन कर दिया, राइट. तो नेपोलियन ने क्या किया था? नेपोलियन हैड राइट started, Napoleon had started unification, but he did without any intention of unification, without any intention. ऐसा कोई intention इसका नहीं था, but knowingly or unknowingly he had started this process. एक बार उसने process शुरू कर दिया था, okay, knowingly or unknowingly Napoleon started this process because these all were the part of extended political territory or boundary of France. तो नेपोलियन ने ये प्रोसेस स्टार्ट कर दिया था. नाउ इफ दे ऑल विल बी वन यूनिट, तो ट्रेड एंड कॉमर्स विल बी इजी और नॉट? बताओ, इसमें ट्रेड एंड कॉमर्स इजी होगा कि नहीं? कस्टम ड्यूटी, व्हाट अबाउट कस्टम ड्यूटी? कस्टम ड्यूटीज विल बी रिड्यूस्ड और नॉट? ट्रेड एंड कॉमर्स विल बी प्रॉफिटेबल और नॉट? यस. The people will enjoy their cultural beliefs, their sharing custom practices or not? Yes, the people will do all this. But 1815, in 1815, new changes will do what? New changes will again divide and distribute these territories. New changes in territories को फिर से divide और distribute कर देंगे. Now I will take the example of Italy first, because we will discuss this topic first, unification of Italy. Then I will take the example of Germany. So first we are going to take the example of Italy, and for that we need to look at this slide images, okay, and we can easily connect the things, okay. Look at the image here. This is Italy in 1815. Actually Italy was not in 1815. Italy 1815 में नहीं है. कब बनता है इंडिपेंडेंट नेशन? 1870-71. बट हम उस नेम को यूज कर रहे हैं so that we can understand. Now look here. इटली में Sardinia, Piedmont are independent state. Only these two states were the independent state. दिस इज सार्डिनिया एंड दिस इज पीडमोंट। केवल यही दो जो है ना, ये इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट था, सार्डिनिया एंड पीडमोंट, दे वेर द इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट, केवल यही इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट थे, सार्डिनिया एंड पीडमोंट, राइट? Only these two were the independent state. Now look at different territories. You will see the states in different colors. Different color में आप states भी देख रहे होगे यहाँ, right? Different colored states. Now this is Lombardy and this is Venetia. Lombardy and Venetia. In 1815 Vienna Congress, these two territories were given to Austria. और ऑस्ट्रिया में कौन था? पावरफुल मोनार्क। कितना आसान है कि अब आपको वियना कांग्रेस फिर से समझ में आ रहा है। दिस इज व्हाट रीड्रॉल ऑफ नेशनल बाउंड्रीज, जो आपके यूपीएससी सिलेबस में दिया हुआ है, उसे समझना है। तो 1815 वियना कांग्रेस में क्या हुआ? आई एम राइटिंग हियर दैट दीज टू टेरिटरीज, वन इज लॉम्बार्डी एंड प्लस विनीशिया, दिस इज रिटन एज विनीजिया और विनीशिया, इट वाज गिवन टू ऑस्ट्रिया। ये ऑस्ट्रिया को दे दिया। ऑस्ट्रिया खलनायक है, राइट? 1815 वियना कांग्रेस, दिस वाज गिवन टू ऑस्ट्रिया, ये दोनों ऑस्ट्रिया को दे दिया। ओके, नाउ नेपल्स एंड सिसिली, बेसिकली this is these two, this is what Naples and this is Seychelles, both these two are also known as kingdom of two Sicilies, ठीक है? Naples Sicily 1 and Sicily Sicily 2। तो ये देखो, kingdom of two Sicilies 1 and 2, kingdom of two Sicilies, kingdom of two Sicilies, kingdom of Sicily were given to Bourbon dynasty ruler। बनाना था ना बर्बन डायनेस्टी को फिर से पावरफुल। बताओ बर्बन डायनेस्टी क्या है? मोनार्कियल सेटअप, मोनार्कियल रूल। तो ये ले ले भाई, तू ले ले सिसिली, किंगडम ऑफ टू सिसिलीज। ये बंटवारा चल रहा है, अपना अपना हिस्सा सब तय कर रहा है किसको क्या चाहिए। ओके, नाउ द नेक्स्ट, पेपल स्टेट्स, रेड कलर्ड स्टेट। पोप वाज कंट्रोलिंग एंड रूलिंग दिस स्टेट। अब कहा गया पोप, भाई तुम कंट्रोल करो, रूल करो, यू आर द रिलीजियस अथॉरिटी ऑल्सो एंड पॉलिटिकल अथॉरिटी ऑल्सो। तो फ्यूडल एलिमेंट्स आर ग्रोइंग पावरफुल और नॉट? लुक एट दिस रेड कलर स्टेट, papal states. Now in papal states, this papal states was ruled by pope. It means here pope is the religious authority as well as political authority. Pope केवल religious authority नहीं है, pope political authority भी है. This is the point now. Okay, these states, look here, smaller states. One is Parma, Modena, and the third is Tuscany. Look at these states. This is one, Parma, Modena, and Tuscany. 1, 2, and 3. This is given to Habsburg dynasty rulers. इसको भी बांट दिया गया. Now Parma plus Modena plus Tuscany. Parma plus Modena plus Tuscany. This was given to Habsburg dynasty rulers. Parma, Modena, and Tuscany was given to Habsburg dynasty rulers. Parma, Modena और Tuscany किसको दे दिया गया? Habsburg dynasty rulers को. Got it? Now, और भी कुछ smaller states आपको दिखेंगे. Okay, so these are the main states. I hope you have discussed this. Now, if you want to draw a rough sketch, it's simply like this. Papal state is the state in the middle. This is middle. Papal states middle में हो गया. In exam, you must draw rough sketches. जरूरी नहीं कि ये क्वेश्चन आए, ये टॉपिक आए. हम क्लास में क्या पढ़ रहे हैं? अप्रोच, that how to draw a sketch, how to connect the things. ठीक है? जो बच्चा बहुत स्मार्ट नहीं है वो सोचेगा अरे यार मैं तो वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री पढ़ रहा हूँ. जो बच्चा ज़्यादा स्मार्ट है वो टीचर से क्या सीखता है? अप्रोच. The approach to connect the things, the approach to analyze, the approach to draw the sketches. So you are learning a lot in the classes. You will get terminologies, new terminologies, which will enrich you. आप अपने आप आंसर में यूज करने लगोगे इन टर्मिनोलॉजीज को. That's why you should get the lecture. सुनना चाहिए दूसरों को. आप टीचर को, जरूरी नहीं टीचर को सुनो. If your father is a lecturer, if your father is knowledgeable, mother is knowledgeable, तो आप उनको भी बैठ के सुनो. You will learn a lot. दोस्त से सुनो, सीनियर से सुनो, बट ट्राई टू डिस्कस। इसके बाद आ जाओ नॉर्थ में। नॉर्थ में कौन कौन से स्टेट्स हैं भाई बताओ? लॉम्बार्डी, लॉम्बार्डी प्लस विनीशिया, देन देखो शॉर्ट में हम लिख रहे हैं परमा प्लस मॉडर्ना प्लस टस्कनी, ओके ये आ गया। अच्छा, दे ऑल वेयर इन द कंट्रोल ऑफ फॉरेन पावर्स और नॉट? व्हाई आई एम सेइंग फॉरेन पावर्स? केवल पीडमोंड और सार्डिनिया ही ऐसा टेरिटरी है जो लोकल रूलर्स के अधीन है। मेरी बात समझ गया ना? अदरवाइज ऑल देयर टेरिटरीज आर कंट्रोल्ड बाय फॉरेन पावर्स। ठीक है, तो हियर व्हाट वी सी, परमा, सॉरी, पीडमोंड एंड सार्डिनिया, दिस इज नोन एज पीडमोंड सार्डिनिया स्टेट। दोनों को एक साथ भी लिखते हैं। लोकेशन इज लाइक दिस, पीडमोंड एंड सार्डिनिया, बोथ आर रिटन टुगेदर, पीडमोंड सार्डिनिया, पीडमोंट सार्डिनिया, पीडमोंड सार्डिनिया, एक साथ लिखते हैं। तो दे वेर कंट्रोल्ड बाय द लोकल रूलर्स, बाकी टेरिटरीज इन्हीं की है, कोई और रूल कर रहा है, ऐसा समझो आप। ठीक है ना? किंगडम ऑफ टू सिसिलीज यहां आ गया, साउथ स्टेट, दिस इज व्हाट, किंगडम ऑफ, मतलब क्या है? दे आर रूल्ड बाय द लोकल रूलर्स, पीडमोंट एंड सार्डिनिया रूल्ड बाय द लोकल रूलर्स। इसका मतलब इस पूरे के पूरी एरिया में, in this all this area, what we see an important thing, and that is what, common cultural beliefs, shared customs, ethnic ties, ये पूरे के पूरे है। It means what is common here? So if you look at the population, so this entire population was sharing common cultural beliefs, right? They were sharing common languages. They had common ethnic ties. They have common ethnic ties. ठीक है? They were sharing common cultural beliefs, common languages, and they were also having common ethnic ties. इनके क्या थे? Common ethnic ties भी है. It means, are they united? Yes, they are united. But at the same time, they are divided. They are united by their cultural beliefs, their ethnic ties, their shared customs, beliefs, and practices. But at the same time, they are divided by the powerful monarch of Europe. So, did the people like this division? क्या लोगों को ये पसंद है division? बताओ. No, the people will not like this division, because this division is like an obstacle in what? In their common cultural beliefs, practices, language, and ethnic ties. So write this. The people in these territories did not like this division. The people in these territories did not like this division. इस division को पसंद नहीं करते थे. They did not like foreign rule. This is what? Foreign rule. ठीक है, ऑस्ट्रिया का कब्जा, राइट, बर्बन डायनेस्टी रूल, पोप का कब्जा, हैब्सबर्ग डायनेस्टी रूल, दिस इज लाइक फॉरेन रूल। जैसे इंडिया में था ब्रिटिश रूल, वैसे इनके लिए क्या है? फॉरेन रूल। इंडिया में क्या ब्रिटिश रूल ने हमारे कल्चरल प्रैक्टिसेस को सबऑर्डिनेट करने की कोशिश की? यस, ब्रिटिश डिड व्हाट? दे ट्राइड टू सबऑर्डिनेट आवर कल्चर। ओके, दैट्स व्हाई दे कंसीडर इंडियंस एज इंफीरियर रेसेस। तो लोगों को ऐसा ही फील हो रहा है दैट दिस इज लाइक फॉरेन डोमिनेशन एंड कंट्रोल, and this foreign domination and control was maintained in which year? 1815. अच्छा, एक और बात बताओ, चलो कल्चरल बिलीफ्स को हटा दो. This foreign domination and control had divided their territories. So if there are different territories, so what will happen? Okay, there are multiple custom barriers, tariff barriers. There are multiple custom barriers, multiple tariff barriers. ठीक है? वॉल्टेयर की कहानी याद आ रही है? फ्रांस में जितनी जगह जाओ, बार बार जैसे घोड़े बदलने पड़ते वैसे वैसे रूल्स बदल जाता है. इन द सेम वे हियर व्हाट वी सी, दीज आर मल्टीपल कस्टम बैरियर्स एंड टैरिफ बैरियर्स. है मल्टीपल कस्टम टैरिफ बैरियर, एंड दिस विल डू व्हाट? This will promote trade and commerce. This will encourage or this will discourage. This will discourage. This will disrupt. This will make trade and commerce more costlier. ठीक है? Export and import will be time consuming as well as it will be expensive. It will be time consuming as well as it will be expensive. एक्सपोर्ट और इंपोर्ट क्या हो जाएगा, ये टाइम कंज्यूमिंग भी हो जाएगा और एक्सपेंसिव भी हो जाएगा। बात समझ गए? नेपोलियन के टाइम में क्या हुआ था, लोगों ने रियलाइज किया, if we are a part of single unit, then what happens? There is no multiple custom barrier, trade and commerce is smooth, export import becomes easier, it's cheaper. So the people have already experienced it कि अगर एक साथ रहे और यूनाइटेड रहे तो इसके कई बेनिफिट्स हैं। एक तो आपकी इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज एनरिच होंगी, दूसरा यू विल बी एनरिच्ड सोशली कल्चरली, तीसरा इफ ऑल दीज टेरिटरीज विल बी यूनाइटेड तो दे विल हैव अ पॉलिटिकल आइडेंटिटी इन यूरोप। ठीक है, अगर सब एक टेरिटरी एक साथ आ जाए तब तो आज आप इटली कह रहे हो, तो उनकी क्या होगी, एक पॉलिटिकल आइडेंटिटी भी होगी। गॉट इट? दिस इज द चेंजेस इन 1815। आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड। नाउ when R2 will take place in France in 1830 and when R3 will take place in France in 1848, will it motivate the people here? Yes, this will also motivate the people who are living in these Italian territories. And how they will be motivated, encouraged? Okay, now they will start thinking about the idea to get united. They will start thinking the idea, it means now they are developing the sense that we are one. So this sense of unity, which is developing in the minds of these people, this sense of unity is what? This is what? Birth of nationalism. Sense of unity is what? Developing a sense of unity is what? Is birth of nationalism. इसी को हम कहते हैं birth of nationalism. Right? Developing this sense of unity is known as what? Birth of nationalism. कितना आसान कॉन्सेप्ट है, ठीक है? अच्छा, ये सेंस ऑफ यूनिटी कैसे प्रमोट होता है? क्या इसमें वॉर और मिलिट्री कॉन्क्वेस्ट का रोल है या कल्चर का ज्यादा रोल है? व्हाट इज योर ओपिनियन? ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट रोल किसका होता है? कल्चर, आर्ट, पोएट्री, वर्नाक्यूलर लैंग्वेजेस, स्टोरीज, music, literature. For example, when you will read Indian national movement, you will find that socio-religious reforms did what? The cultural movements did what? United the people. Develop this sense that we all are one. विवेकानंद किस बात की कोशिश कर रहे थे? यही तो समझाने की कोशिश कर रहे थे। राजा राम मोहन रॉय was also trying to do the same. Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar, primers, why they were promoting vernacular languages? For all this purpose. So in these areas also, development of nationalism is seen, and it's not due to war, due to military conquest. Here the development, in the development of nationalism, what plays the most important role? So culture plays the most important role. Culture plays the most important role. And there are different expressions of culture. Art is an expression of culture. Poetry is an expression of culture. Literature is an expression of culture. And vernacular languages are the expression of culture. एक बात हमेशा हिस्ट्री से हमें सीखनी चाहिए, that we should always respect our vernaculars, our vernacular languages. It does not matter that you are speaking Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Marathi, Bhojpuri, okay, but you respect your vernacular languages and you should make your own efforts to promote vernaculars. मेरी बात समझ गया? और मैं भोजपुरी में पूरा इतिहास पढ़ाने जा रहा हूँ. I am going to teach the entire history in the Bhojpuri, right? And this I will do. I think that I will be the first person doing this. ठीक है, मतलब हिस्ट्री में नो बकवास, सीधा काम की बात. I will teach the entire history in Bhojpuri. Not here. I have launched another channel for that. So I will come in Bhojpuri. So you should also try to promote your vernaculars, right? Marathi and Kannada, Telugu. You should. भाई इतनी देर में समझ में नहीं आया आपको कि मैं कहाँ से हूँ? I know my vernacular, right? I belong to. नहीं, क्यों नहीं आती भाई? नो नो, मुझे भोजपुरी भी आती है, अभी सुनोगे आप हिस्ट्री भोजपुरी में, पूरी हिस्ट्री भोजपुरी में सुनोगे, ठीक है, राइट। नाउ नेशनलिज्म की बात आपको समझ में आई, आर्ट म्यूजिक स्टोरीज एंड ऑल दिस। नाउ देर इज अ वर्ड रोमांटिसिज्म, इसके बारे में भी थोड़ा बात कर लें, तब हम यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ इटली पे आएंगे। रोमांटिसिज्म, व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ रोमांटिसिज्म, क्या है रोमांटिसिज्म का मतलब? इसका मतलब वो नहीं है जो आप सोच रहे हो, राइट। रोमांटिसिज्म इज अ काइंड ऑफ कल्चरल मूवमेंट इन यूरोप, ठीक है, cultural movement in Europe, and the main objective of this cultural movement, okay, was to develop a kind of nationalistic sentiments in the mind of people. This was romanticism, ठीक है, this was romanticism. It was a cultural movement in Europe, and the main motive is what, to develop the nationalist sentiments in the minds of people. And how it will be done, कैसे nationalist sentiments को promote किया जाए, बताओ। Poetry can play an important role or not? Yes, poetry can play an important role. रोमांटिसिज्म की एक खास बात है, और वो खास बात क्या है कि देखो, एक फोकस होता है तर्क पर, यूज ऑफ रीजन पर, ठीक है, वन फोकस इज व्हाट, ऑन रीजन, ऑन साइंस, ठीक है, यू ऑलवेज आस्क द क्वेश्चन व्हाई, एंड देयर इज वन पार्ट, ओके, and the second part is focusing on what, emotions, intuitions and mystic feelings. Suppose your mother is a spiritual woman, religious woman, so what is the basis of his thoughts and beliefs? They will think, okay, इन एन इमोटिव मैनर, वो इंट्यूशंस पे काम करेंगी, वो आपको कॉल करेंगी तो कहेंगी बेटा आज मन अजीब सा हो रहा था तो मुझे लगा तुमसे बात करना चाहिए, पता नहीं तुम कैसे हो गए। वो किस पे काम कर रही है, इंट्यूशन पे काम कर रही है, मेरी बात समझ गया। तो रोमांटिसिज्म में जो फोकस है, द फोकस इन रोमांटिसिज्म विल नॉट बी ऑन यूज ऑफ रीजन, it will not be on promotion of science, but here the focus will be what, on emotions, the focus will be what, on intuitions, the focus will be on what, mystic feelings, ठीक है, मेरी बात आप समझ रहे हो। जैसे गुलजार साहब कविताएं लिखते हैं, पोएम्स लिखते हैं, शेर व शायरी लिखते हैं, तो गुलजार साहब ने लिखा कि मैं सिगरेट तो नहीं पीता, मैं सिगरेट तो नहीं पीता, लेकिन हर आने जाने वाले से पूछ लेता हूँ माचिस है क्या, क्योंकि इस दुनिया में बहुत कुछ ऐसा है जिसे मैं जला देना चाहता हूँ। अब आप गुलजार से पूछ लो, पलट के माचिस खरीद लो भैया, ठीक है, क्यों हर आदमी से पूछते रहते हो माचिस है क्या, मेरी बात समझ गया। तो पोएट की फीलिंग्स अलग होती है, उनकी इंट्यूशंस अलग होती है, उनको यूज ऑफ रीजन, साइंस, साइंटिफिक टेम्परामेंट, इससे आप तय करके नहीं देख सकते। एंड ऑब्वियसली वर्नाक्यूलर्स विल प्ले एन इंपॉर्टेंट रोल इन दिस रोमांटिसिज्म और नॉट, यस, folklores will play an important role in this romanticism or not, yes. So this all happened during this period, it means between this period 1815, 1830, 1848, in the people of Italy who are living in these territories, they are developing this sense कि कितना अच्छा होता that this all territories should be united into one, ठीक है, then we will have a political identity, diplomatic identity, our trade and commerce will be promoted, right, our cultural unity could be established. So this is what development of nationalism in Europe. Now who played the most important part in this? Napoleon. नेपोलियन का कंट्रीब्यूशन है कि नहीं है ना कंट्रीब्यूशन। तो नेपोलियन इज अ डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ मोनार्क। Now this is a separate topic. Now I hope you understand some of the names, you remember some of the names. Again I am repeating, Sardinia, Piedmont are ruled by the local rulers. Then in north, which state are there? Lombardy and Venetia, it was given to rulers of Austria. Papal state is ruled by Pope, okay. And this Parma, Modena and Tuscany, again this was given to monarchical rulers, Habsburg dynasty rulers. And the kingdom of two Sicilies here, Sicily 1, Sicily 2, right, kingdom of two Sicilies, this is given to Bourbon dynasty ruler who was ruling in France. This is what division and distribution of territories without caring for the common cultural beliefs. So this will go against nationalism, people will try to unite, and this will promote a movement, that is movement is known as unification of Italy. in Europe, which was completed in the year 1870-71. And this is what nationalist movement in Europe, birth of nationalism in Europe. इसको ही कहते हैं nationalism, and the nationalist sentiments, how they were born, how they got birth. So in next class we will discuss that what happened, how this process of unification was completed. ठीक है, और पढ़ते हुए ये बिल्कुल नहीं सोचना है कि लाइन लाइन रट्टा मारना है. नो, यू आर गेटिंग द आइडियाज एंड यू विल ट्राई टू यूज दोज आइडियाज. उस अंडरस्टैंडिंग को कहीं ना कहीं आप एग्जाम में यूज करोगे. मेरी बात समझ गया ना? दिस इज टू बी डन. एनी क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम दिस टॉपिक? है कोई क्वेश्चन? एनी वन ऑफ यू? यस प्लीज. Prussia is a country. Okay, Prussia was a country ruled by monarch. Prussia was there, Austria was there. In unification of Germany, Prussia will play an important role. जैसे मैप पे अगर मैं आपको दिखाऊं तो शायद इसमें मैप होगा भी. ओके, यू विल फाइंड दिस द मैप. ठीक है, ये क्लियर विजिबल नहीं है. ओके, देखो ये जो ऑस्ट्रिया एम्पायर है ना, ऑस्ट्रिया, ठीक है, इज इट विजिबल? Okay, now look at this map. You will find different countries here. So we will see that Prussia will fight for the unification of Germany. जैसे in unification of Italy, who will lead? Sardinia and Piedmont will lead. यही तो है, Sardinia and Piedmont. वैसे ही जो जर्मनी बनता है तो जर्मनी के लिए यूनिफिकेशन के लिए कौन फाइट करेगा? प्रशा फाइट करेगा. ओके, so Prussia plus some other territories will be unified into जर्मनी. द आइडिया वॉज टू एक्सक्लूड ऑस्ट्रिया. ऑस्ट्रिया को एक्सक्लूड करा और उसकी भी आगे एक लंबी स्टोरी है. ठीक है, फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर में दोबारा से टेरिटोरियल चेंजेस होते हैं. ठीक है, तो वो सारी चीज़ें हम देखेंगे. ठीक है ना? देयर आर टेरिटोरियल चेंजेस एट, हाँ क्लियरली, दिस इज इटली. चलिए देख लेंगे. प्रशा भी आएगा इन जर्मनी. ओके, I will display the map of Prussia. ठीक है ना? Are you familiar with the basic names? ठीक है? Right. So we'll continue the next day. Thanks to all of you.